Victor Fedeli joins me now, Ontario's Minister of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade. Minister Fedeli, great to have you on the program. Appreciate your time today. So as we were just listening there to Ontario Premier Doug Ford today, of course, certain businesses will be able to open, seasonal businesses, but some of the smaller businesses involved in that, nurseries, et cetera, are not on that docket. But what's the plan here? If you could expand a little bit more in terms of the province's plans to get other businesses back up and running.
Last week, we laid out the framework, which talked about the fact that there will be 3 stages. A few days later, we came out with sector-by-sector guidelines from the Minister of Labour. And then finally, on Friday, the Premier and I announced that we would indeed be opening some businesses today for curbside access, garden centres, landscaping services. Marina and golf courses are open only for prep work. No customers are allowed. Automated self-serve car washes are open today. Car dealerships are open by appointment. And all of these really, they're not one of the stages. I call them a pre-stage. They're sort of technical, and they send a signal. The signal is, get ready for construction, and the car dealers signal that the automotive plants who shut down voluntarily, that we now have a retail channel for you, ready for when you decide to open.
And I know you are following the numbers, and as we hear there from pretty much almost his daily briefings from the Premier, they're following the numbers, following the data, and the advice, of course, of the Chief Medical Officer on this. One big issue, though, among businesses is being able to pay rent. And a lot of business owners are saying they're having a hard time not just being able to pay rent, but other bills as well. Some landlords are not applying for the CECRA. So what options do these businesses have? And I know that there's, as you say, you're following things. There's no specific dates right now, but what else is going to be done to support these people?
Well, we've put about $17 billion in from the province of Ontario to defer things like their workplace safety payments, their employee health tax payments, all of the taxes that they owe. For families, we made sure that we took the provincial share of their taxes off. The education taxes were removed. So there's a long series of things that we've done. With respect to rent, we encourage the landlords to work with their tenants. After all, when this is settled, they're going to need tenants in those buildings. And so the federal government paying 50%, the provincial government paying 25%, the landlord paying 25%. This is a great opportunity now to participate and cooperate with each other.
Okay. There's some, I'm hoping you can sort of clear up some discrepancy here. We're hearing some frustration from business owners, conflicting messages. The Ontario Helpline says that they can open, but then they're going to be hit with fees. Explain the disconnect here, because, you know, there's obviously then there's that frustration there. If you can explain that to us, and I'm sure business owners are listening in right now.
While there is an essential business list that's on the government website, just Google Ontario Essential Business. You'll see the list. There's 44. There's some notes that allow things like lawn care and landscaping, which we open today. Garden centers and nurseries, curbside open only, which we open today. Marinas and golf courses, as I mentioned, that's strictly for prep work to repair the docks and things like that. Car washes, car dealers, they're open today. Car dealers by appointment. School projects, university and college projects can go ahead and on their construction. Site prep can begin. So we're sending lots of signals out. It's very clear what can open and what can not yet open.
But what about these fees? Do these fees not apply here then? And is that just a misunderstanding there? That's what the concern is. They know, I mean, they can go on the website and see who's open and who's not and who's eligible. But what about these fees that they're being hit with?
I've never heard of those fees. There are no fees on the essential business list. If you're on the list, you can open, and if you're not, you cannot yet be open. There are no fees involved on either side of that ledger.
Okay, I'm glad you cleared that up. Before I let you go, can you give us a sense here, as we know, again, we're hearing from the Premier on a regular basis, where you foresee things going? Again, you're watching the numbers here, but of course, so many Ontarians are wondering if there's a real timeline that you might be looking at.
Angie, there's nobody more than the Premier of Ontario that wants to see our businesses open, but we need to do it safely and following the Chief Medical Officer of Health guidelines, as the Premier always has. So we're at a pre-stage now, which is a pretty strong signal to the business community, get ready. we've done some technical changes, and you'll see, depending on where the news from the caseload is this week, you'll hear more information coming from the Premier as the days go on.
All right, Victor Fedeli, Ontario's Minister of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade. Minister Fedeli, appreciate you giving us your time today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.